Hello and welcome back to the PINOnline podcast. I'm Jed, the content editor here at ILM Media, and I'm joined as usual by Alan Booth, senior editor at ILM Media.
Glad to be back with you, Jed. As always, we're here to help you stay ahead of the curve with your process and safety monitoring systems in this rapidly evolving petroleum and petrochemical sector. This time we're exploring a technology that's poised to separate the winners from the losers in this sector: AI-powered predictive maintenance.
And remember, if you want to learn more or explore any more of these topics, just head over to www.petro-online.com. You can check the show notes for all of the articles that we mentioned in this episode.
Okay, so right, let's get started with the easy one. What is predictive maintenance?
So historically, in the oil and gas sector, you've had one of two strategies for maintaining your assets. There's reactive maintenance, where you wait until something goes haywire and then you fix it. It's low tech, not so expensive, but it's quite risky because you've got potentially lots of unplanned downtime. There's safety incidents that can happen and potentially massively costly emergency repairs. The other option has been preventative maintenance, where you fix and service your assets on a fixed schedule, and this improves the reliability of your systems, but you can waste time, parts, money, all sorts of hours doing this sort of preventative maintenance. But predictive maintenance is the sort of middle ground that has been enabled by artificial intelligence, where you can use real-time data, machine learning, and historical analysis to forecast failures. So you can sort of predict when something might need a service, so that you can do it ahead of time, but not waste a bunch of resources on something that you don't know is actually going to fail. So the AI models will analyze streams of sensor data for early warning signs of some sort of failure. This sort of more complex, sophisticated system massively beats basic condition monitoring systems, which I know some businesses will be using, where you set a fixed threshold for a particular parameter. If temperature goes over 85 degrees Celsius, you trigger an alarm. And that's very effective if done right, but in a more complicated sector, as things become more and more complicated in the oil and gas sector, there's just too many variables, there's too many things that can go wrong in very different ways. So you need predictive maintenance to have all of this context to make better predictions. It learns the normal behaviors of each unique asset under different loads, environments, and operating cycles, and just gets more and more knowledgeable over time. So it doesn't just flag every single spike like condition monitoring would do. It will detect which patterns matter, how everything interrelates, and therefore give you better forecasts.
Okay, what kind of data and sensors are we connecting to this predictive maintenance systems?
So typically, as things stand at the moment, it's things like vibration analysis, which detects early bearing wear, for instance, or misalignment in any sort of rotating equipment. Then you've got thermal sensors, which check if components are overheating or if insulation is failing somewhere. Then you've got acoustic signals. This is for pressure leaks or developing cavitation in pumps. Then you'll be measuring flow rate and pressure changes, both of which may signal some type of fouling or valve issue or developing corrosion inside of your pipes. So all of this information, you feed it into your predictive model, and it understands what normal looks like, and then it can alert operators if you're drifting towards any sort of danger zone in any of these different parameters.
Right. Can you tell us any real-world examples with these systems?
Yeah, so it's definitely becoming a more regular occurrence. You've got Shell, which is using AI predictive maintenance on many of its key assets, and since it's deployed, it has seen a reduction in downtime by about 20%, which is massive. ExxonMobil have been using machine learning to monitor rotating equipment across multiple sites, which has led to earlier detection of failures and more efficient scheduling of maintenance. And very recently, in January of this year, Saudi Aramco announced that a proof of concept had been achieved in partnership with Korean firm FutureMain, which produces these systems. And now a pilot project is upcoming to develop that technology even more for use across Saudi Arabia.
But this technology is moving quite quickly, right?
Yes, very quickly. I mean, like lots of these technologies, it's already sort of entering a whole new phase. So it's potentially being superseded by prescriptive maintenance rather than predictive maintenance. And the difference here is that AI doesn't just say the pump might fail soon. This particular pump is heading for failure, but you need to replace this bearing during next week's scheduled shutdown to prevent downstream damage and reduce downtime by 40%. It will tell you something like that. It's not just what and when, but why and how. As a result, actions can be triggered automatically. You can generate a work order or notify a work crew, or even just pause an operation to get these things done. And this is all part of the industry's ongoing digitalization. It's part of the new digital twin systems which are being used and developed by a bunch of firms. A digital twin is a live virtual model that mirrors all of your assets and how they relate to each other, and essentially maps the overall system health of your operation. And the more that firms use these digital twins and use prescriptive maintenance and AI, that's just more experience. The models will know where, when, and what to monitor in even greater detail. They'll identify other critical parameters and just generally make operations a bit more robust. So as digitalization develops, we're going to see prescriptive maintenance follow. The more people that use even predictive maintenance, they'll gain lots of experience and will be able to develop into a more prescriptive maintenance paradigm. But I'll leave it there because I think my digital twin, Mr. Alan Booth, is getting a bit restless. So I'll wrap this all up. But before we do, just to remind you that if you want to learn any more about this, head over to www.petro-online.com.
Okay, and while you're at it, remember to subscribe for free to get access to expert-led articles, conference presentations, and webinars.
But before you do any of that, don't forget to follow us on whatever podcast platform that you're listening to us on right now, so that you don't miss the conclusion of this mini-series on Industry 4.0, where we'll be discussing using blockchain technology to make custody transfer much more secure.
Catch you next time, Jed.
Cheers, Alan.